you need to manifest from what you already have.
Yeah.
If you go in and you say, I want something, you're basically saying it doesn't exist. It's not there right now. Versus, I already have that and I'm just trying to bring it forth, because it's maybe dormant at the moment.
So this thought came from Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he was a spiritual teacher. And I heard him speak about the art of manifestation, and he gave this quote, and it was, "I will attract into my life what I am, not what I want." In his opinion, this is the true purpose of manifestation. That's what really changed my perspective. I was under the impression, based on the proliferation of information I see online, that manifestation is about wishing for things you wanted: money, careers, love interests, etc. But after listening to Dr. Dyer, as well as a few other proponents of manifesting, I now understand that it's really about finding who you really are, figuring out what you need in this life, figuring out what your natural gifts are so that you can use them to meet those needs, and being grateful for all that you have, which will curtail your wants. So that was his take on it. And that's really powerful too. And we'll get your thoughts on that, about that you're trying to attract what you need, not what you want. You're trying to attract what's going to make you your true self, not what you think you want.
I think that's interesting as well,
Yeah.
because yeah, I guess as well, like people would think, okay, so manifesting is about sitting down and saying, I want a romantic partner, or I want that promotion at work, or whatever it is. And that's just such a shallow view of manifestation.
Yeah.
But I think it is like, it's already within you, because this is what I like about Tolle. This is like, he had a recent kind of bunch of free videos where he talks about manifesting.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's like, you need to manifest from what you already have. If you go in and you say, I want something, you're basically saying it doesn't exist. It's not there right now. Versus, I already have that and I'm just trying to bring it forth, because it's maybe dormant at the moment. And that's so true, because he's like, so people really manifest in the wrong way. They're already trying to manifest something, but coming from a place of lack versus a place of, I've already got it. And it's so true. You can think about it through so many different lenses, right? Which, as you say, looking at the strengths within yourself. So say you want to, I don't know, if you say you really do want to look at a promotion, it's like, well, do you think you have it inside you already to be, I don't know, a manager or something, or whatever it is? It needs to already exist in you, and then you bring it forth, as opposed to trying to just pluck something out that really, if you think about it, you don't need, you don't want, and you shouldn't get, maybe.
Right. And doesn't serve your true self.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think when you do come from it, I think if you come from a place of your true self, and that you've really, I'll use my term, that you've really deliberately thought about it, about whether, that will just stay with the promotion, like whether this promotion is in alignment with your values, if it's going to serve some purpose in your life to make you a better person somehow, and or even to serve others in a better way, maybe. If you're coming into it, at it from a place like that, even though you maybe don't have the skills yet to be that manager or whatever you're being promoted to, maybe you don't have the skills yet, but you'll figure out a way to get those skills. And you'll figure out a way to get those skills pretty quickly, because you're coming at it from a pure place. I think, because when you're coming at it not from a pure place, I think you're going to have a much harder time, because all of a sudden you're going to get there, you're going to figure out you don't have the skills, and it's not something you really wanted to do, and you're just going to be so overwhelmed that you're not going to get those skills that you needed to really perform that job, because that's not what you really wanted to begin with.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, and that's where manifesting and deliberate thinking really coincide.
Right.
Because you do need to think about things, because, because too often I think we just do things, and we've said that before, we just run blindly forward, hoping that we find something. that'll
Yeah.
stick or whatever. But we
Right.
don't sit down and actually go, what do I want?
Do I want it to
But-
stick? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and that's why people get something like a promotion and they go, oh, I didn't really think this through. I actually hate this.
Yes, because we've
Like-
both been there.
We have. Yeah.
Where you end up, you're climbing the ladder, and this just is just the easiest example is to talk
Yep.
about promotion, but where you're kind of climbing the ladder, and then you get this title, and you're like, yeah, really, this is what I was working for. Now what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think just take a step back and say with manifesting, right? So like I might later tell you kind of my story about like something I manifested, which kind of
That'd be
scared
awesome.
me a little bit. But lately, right, I've had some frustrations, which I've
Well,
talked
now
to
you
Amanda
just have
about.
to tell me.
I will definitely have to tell you the story.
Okay.
But like I've had some frustrations recently, which I felt are just insignificant frustrations. So in a way, it's been like quite good to be like, cool. Like if this is what I'm getting annoyed about in my life right now, things are going pretty well.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I've been going, do I try and manifest these things that I'm maybe feeling I'm lacking or I don't have right now? And I can't bring myself to do it because I realize how shallow those things are. Like I'm just kind of like, I'm very happy with what I've got right now. Life is going pretty well. And I feel there is a level of where the universe is kind of guiding me along the path that I need to go down.
Right.
And I'm doing the control thing. I'm trying to resist where I'm going. And so I'm not going to use something as powerful as manifesting because I think it is very, very powerful once you understand it.
Sure.
Don't use that unless you deliberately think about what do I want? Where do I want to go?
Yeah.
So like my example, I guess, was when I was, I haven't told you this. So when I was previously in a rental property, which I needed to break my lease early so I could move in with my girlfriend. And the rent at this place was really high. I was having a really difficult time with the real estate agent. She was very difficult to get along with, despite my best efforts. And just the place was not, despite the fact that in Hobart, where I live, the rental market is going crazy. Like basically rental properties are being sucked up in about 2 seconds. Yet this place wasn't.
Really?
And it meant that it was just mad because, you know, it just meant that I had to keep paying like very high rent when, you know, the new place that I'm in, I don't have to pay as much. And it was frustrating me. So I manifested. I sat down and I really focused my intentions and visualized what happened, you know, visualized this real estate agent basically meeting with some new tenants who would take the lease.
Yeah.
And I literally went down to the very fine-tuned nature of the time in which this would happen, the people that would be there, how the interaction would unfold. And it involved you know, people might be like, geez, okay, this is a bit full on. But I sat down and I wrote out what I wanted from that situation. I spoke it aloud. I visualized it and it came true. It literally unfolded. Yeah. And it was in despite, you know, and for me, what it made me think about with manifesting is it's about creating space. You know, if we think about we're in the quantum realm, you know, which we've talked to a few people about, the quantum realm, which is this like vast space full of energy, you know, where things can happen. It's about honing all of that energy in and creating more space for something to happen. And, you know, because I think there is, you know, everything is in flux right now. So it is trying to just say to the universe, hey, I'm trying to just create space here.
Yeah.
So when that happened, it actually freaked me out because I was like,
now, not the time. Did it come down to the time?
Yes, it pretty much. It was pretty close. It literally unfolded very close to how I wanted it to.
That's creepy because I can see it unfold. Well, yeah, I can see it happening, but maybe like not exactly the same way.
Yeah, and you know, I'm sure like people will be like, yeah, but is that the case? Like blah blah blah. But for me, it just demonstrated. I think there is some power there, and I think you need to be aware that when you open up for space to be created, and you basically call on the universe. That's what I think you're doing. That's
Right.
very powerful, and you shouldn't abuse it. That's why now, if I'm feeling a little bit like frustrated about something which really is insignificant, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to use like manifesting, in that sense, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
there's my little
I
story.
gotcha. No, that's really awesome. But I'm almost thinking too, it's like you got out of the universe's way and the universe rewarded you for that.
Mm.
Almost like it's like,
Yes.
thank you for allowing me
Yes.
to do my job.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to show you that I am listening, so maybe you'll let me do my job more often.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you realize the power there,
Yeah.
I think you realize how important it is not to abuse it, and that you need to use it for what's important, as you said before, something that will be good for other people, not just for
Right.
yourself, which is why you wouldn't manifest, I want $1 million, I want to win the
Right.
lotto. Like, no, don't do that.
Things like that. Yeah, exactly. Which is a lot of what you see. Like
Yeah.
when I see manifestation posts and stuff, it's like manifest $1,000 today, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever. I mean, you probably could, because part of it too is I think you're just opening yourself up to see opportunities that maybe you wouldn't have seen before.
Yes.
So maybe you would have got that $1,000 either way, but it's just,
Yeah.
or you could have, the opportunity was there. It's just now you're actually seeing the opportunity. And I think that is a part of it too. But yeah, like you said, there's got to be something even more powerful than that.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of, because I'm reading this book right now. It's called The War of Art. Yes, I always want to say it backwards. The War of Art. It's
Yep.
by Stephen, and I can't think of his last name. But anyway, it's a pretty powerful book. And the part I was just reading today was talking about muses, and because it's a book aimed at artists, obviously. And so it was talking about muses and how he believes there are angels around us, and where you want to call an angel or a muse, and they're always trying to tell us something. But very many people listen. And he was talking about like Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, and how he pictures like a muse was probably humming those notes into so many people's ears, and nobody was listening until finally one day that muse came to Beethoven and hummed those chords or whatever, and now suddenly you have Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. And I thought that's a really cool way to think of things, is that this is this outside force, whatever you want to call it, that's trying to help us along and trying to give us clues, and we just have to listen to it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that.
I thought that was really cool. And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna find a way to bring this up tonight, because it really has a lot. It's similar to manifesting.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
The same kind of idea, but